Good evening, and welcome to Talking Songs with me, Roland Jones. So, how are we all doing today? Are we happy? There's a bit of sunshine out there today, which is actually quite an improvement. Because I'm fed up with rain and greyness. I have to say, I don't know about you guys, but that's how it feels to me. It's yes, it's I don't know. It's tedious. I think I'm bored with greyness. I think that's the issue. So I'm going to sing a little tune. This is a song that if any of you have seen me play live, you will have heard me play this because it's something that I'm pretty proud of. But also it was influenced. It was inspired, if you like, by Leon Redbone. Who unfortunately is no longer with us. In fact, it would have been his birthday this month. If you don't know who Liam Rayburn was, check him out. He's a lovely guitar player, very zany, looks like Groucho Marx, but fantastic finger picker. Really, not sort of flash, but just solid, absolutely brilliant. And he does a lot of sort of 30s type tunes and also some sort of great jazz standards, things like Upper Lazy Liver, Upper Lazy River. Quite like that, Upper Lazy Liver. So this one's dedicated to the late Leon Redbone, and this is called "Am I Feeling Blue?" It's early in the morning, the sun is already hot. There's fresh food in the kitchen, and the coffee pot is hot. So why am I feeling blue? No clouds on the horizon, I got money in the bank. My car is sitting pretty, and there's gasoline in the tank. So why am I feeling blue? My baby's gone and left me, and I for another man. She says she wants to travel, she does not give a damn. She told me this morning, I said, I don't know what to say. She said, say what you want, honey, cause I'm gonna leave you anyway. I leave the food in the kitchen, the coffee in the pot. I'll take off in my Cadillac, cause believe it or not, my baby's gone cold on me, but her sister has not. There are big fish in the river, there's grapes upon the vine. Last night we had a party, I had a real good time. So why am I feeling blue? My baby's gone and left me, not for another man. She says she wants to travel, she does not give a damn. She told me this morning, I said, I don't know what to say. She said, you can say what you want, my honey, cause I'm gonna leave you anyway. So I leave the food in the kitchen, the coffee in the pot. I'll take off in my Cadillac, cause believe it or not, my baby's gone cold on me, but her sister has not. No, she's not. My baby's gone cold on me, but her sister has not. There you go. The great man Leon. Do check him out. There's a lovely recording of one track on on Spotify of him, and there's a pause when he's not speaking and he's not playing, and suddenly the audience bursts out laughing. And I've got no idea what he did, and I've tried Googling it. I've posted on the internet trying to find out what he actually did at that point that was so funny. And I've yet to find out, so there you go. So, with me today, my guest in the studio is Mr. Gary Carey. Let's go over to Gary. Where are you? There you are. I think you're still muted there, Gary. Good,
yeah,
man.
I was just searching for the button.
How are you doing?
I'm good, yeah. I've just been writing a song called Upper Brazy Liver.
It's quite nice, that, isn't it?
That one
quite Brazy Liver. Yeah, a celebration of drinking in the in lockdown. So, Gary, what's your story when it comes to music? When did it all start for you?
Oh, right. I started... I can't remember exactly how old I was, but still in short trousers in those days. And basically what started me off, my younger brother Terence had a guitar bought for him as a present. And he used it as a cricket bat and did the Long John Silver impression and this, everything but play it. And then, and then my dad got a few lessons from a guy he worked with, and he started playing. And so Terence and I thought, well, if Dad can do it, we can do it. So we all started playing guitar. And went off in completely different directions, really, with how we do it. So my brother is very much into the folk kind of music, and he's a natural musician. So he plays violin and penny whistle and all kinds of mandolin, all kinds of instruments. Right. Whereas I have to learn an instrument. I have to work at it. But, you know, that's part of the pleasure anyway. Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of the pleasure anyway. You can quite enjoy it when you persevere and you get something falling under the fingers. It's quite good too.
Well, it is, and it's a lifelong thing as well. I think I told this story before, but there was a thing on recently on Sky Arts, and it was a guitar competition. It was a ludicrous thing, but I watched it anyway. And there was one of the mentors they had on it was George Benson.
Oh, right,
and there was a young jazz guitar player there, and he said, "It's an absolute pleasure to meet you, Mr. Benson, and I'm really hoping that you can teach me something. I'm sure you can." And Benson said. He said, well, when I was your age, he said, I met my hero, that was Wes Montgomery. And I said, Mr. Montgomery, can you teach me some guitar, please? And he said, no. And George Benson said to me, why did you say no? And Wes Montgomery said, because I'm too busy learning the damn thing myself. Which, considering that Montgomery was, I mean, not only self-taught, but a monstrous player. And he still considered he was still learning, So I think you're absolutely right. That is part of the process. Yeah. So okay, so you've got a guitar now. You've managed to persuade your brother to let you play it rather than. I presume you've got one guitar each by this stage.
I mean, as we did. Yeah, I mean, the first guitar that I got was. Obviously a present from my parents, and we got it from Mamelocks on Deansgate in Manchester.
Yes, I remember Mamelocks.
Yeah. So I mean that's long gone now, and it was a Rossetti Lucky 7, I think, was the kind which very with a little kind of white pick guard. I can't remember whether that had pick up on it or not, but it just played acoustically. But then. I couldn't kind of keep it in tune. The intonation I don't think was quite right, so we swapped that for a Dreadnought guitar, and that's what I started off on. I used that for quite a while, and then later on got into electric guitar, which I still love playing, and it was in a few kind of semi-pro groups as well. Basically playing rhythm guitar. Never sang in those days. I only started singing when I started writing songs. And I needed to sing because otherwise no one else could do it because no one else knew what the
no one's got on in your head.
Yeah.
So what age were you then when you started writing?
That was quite a bit later, really, and I'd say the serious writing was quite a lot later after that. I was quite happy to to play other people's songs because there's lots of great music around. And there'd been quite a long period where my guitar was just gathering dust in the corner of the room. It wasn't, other things were happening. I mean, you got young children and all kinds of things like that happening. So it'd get picked up occasionally, but nothing serious happening with it. And then I started writing, and I went on a songwriting course. I thought better, so get something to really give me a kickstart with that. And it was at Bath Spa University.
Oh, hello.
So yeah,
Hello,
okay, quick wave there. So. And I remember driving down, and I got about halfway down and nearly turned back. I thought, I'm going to be in a room full of, brilliant young people who are going to run rings around me musically and everything. And I didn't. When I got there, it was all kinds of ages, all kinds of abilities, and a lot of the people from there, that must be about 16 years ago, we're still in touch.
Brilliant.
We're going to have a get together in November this year.
Lovely.
And it's it's great. And
can I say that I think that fear. I think we all have that.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I can.
Another couple of people on the course said that to me when I mentioned it to them afterwards. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when I was in the 90s, the early part of the 90s, I started playing jazz, and I went on a couple of jazz weekends, and I can remember the first time I went, and the first one I went to was down in Johnny Dankworth's place.
Oh yeah.
They put lots of courses on. It was a weekend course, and I was halfway there in the car, and I had exactly that same thing. Oh God, what am I doing? What am I doing? You know, and when I got there, it was a whole range of different ages from from beards down, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant, but I still get that fear. I think most people do.
Yes.
So, but clearly it went well for you.
It did, yeah. I mean, it's almost like a second family. I've got this core of people, who when we get together, we do write songs, but I don't feel it's like a songwriting event. It's a reunion. It's a friends reunion, and there have been occasions when we'll just sit round all day and just talk, and you usually one of us then will say, well, shall we write something?
Should we do something while we're here? Yeah.
But I mean, that course, and then the kind of social group afterwards, that was my introduction to co-writing. And writing with other people felt very strange at first, and now it's something I really enjoy. And I think when it works well, you come up with a song that none of you individually would have come up with. You do kind of take the strong points from each other and get something that works on a different level to something that would come out individually.
It's interesting you say that, because I've tried co-writing on quite a few occasions, and with one person we did write something that we in fact, he was the first person to do talking songs with me originally when it was a live thing, and he and I wrote a song together, and that worked really well. But on several other occasions, I found it quite difficult, and found that people were too protective. And nobody wanted to say, well, look, I've got this idea here, what can we do with it? Everybody was like waiting for somebody else to do it. But since, since doing this songwriting academy thing earlier on this year, I've got two projects on the go. One at the moment with a guy who was a lyricist, and one with three people, one in Scotland, one in Prague, and one who spends his time between Paris and Moscow, which has been quite a tricky one to do. But it's an interesting experience. I think it's. But I do think you're right that things come out and you think, well, did we write that?
Yeah, it's well. Funny, I remember because we get before the lockdown and all the complications that's brought up, we try to get together twice a year. So early in the year and late in the year when it's low season rates, and we'll book a cottage, and as many of us who can arrange that date will get down. And so it was, we went down to one thing, and Tina Placchino, I think you've seen, she's from Bath. She's been on some of the home songs, David Freak's home songs. She was playing a song, and there was a Welsh guy, Darren James, was sitting next to me, and he said, "Oh, this is a good song." He said, "Who wrote those lyrics?" I said, "Well, you did." Well, you were on the lyric writing team.
Is that right?
And he'd forgotten it completely, because it was about either 6 months or a year since he'd written it.
Yeah.
And then he heard the performance. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
He actually went across and checked, because she had the music on her piano.
Yeah.
And she always writes the names of any co-writers on the top, and he went to check that his name was on it, because he'd just gone completely from his memory.
That's fantastic. That's brilliant. So, okay, I think it's about time you sang us a song. What's the first one going to be? What's the story behind this?
Yeah, well, this one, it started like a lot of my songs do, just noodling around on the guitar, and it was actually someone else's guitar. I was I'd hired a studio to do some demos, and with a guy, it was kind of after studio hours, so I was using downtime at cheap rates, but there was just me in there, and he had a couple of guitars on his wall. One of them was a really nice nylon-strung guitar, and while I was kind of taking a coffee break and letting my ears refresh themselves after kind of mixing some stuff, I just started noodling around, and it was just doing. I thought that's quite nice, so I recorded it on my phone, just sang a couple of dummy lines to get an idea of what melody I could hear with it. And then found it a few weeks later on my phone when I was going through, and wrote the song. It's called Better Be There, and it's a story that's kind of partly based on two friends of mine.
Right.
Oh, here we go. Jenny Mackenzie, running on empty, she's had a hard day, unwinds on the sofa, reading 50 Shades, takes a break for a smoke, pizza and coke, enjoys every slice, then Nadine's on the line, saying party of mine, not gonna tell you twice, you better be there. You better be there. Well, Daniel Bailey, been wondering lately if there's more he should do. The nights on the Xbox, playing Black Ops 2. And some friends passing by say it's happening tonight. Big house on Paradigm Hill. Planning on crashing. Danny boy, say that you will. You better be there. You better be there. Well, the music's loud, house is crowded, and it gets him down. Ends up talking to that pretty girl he sometimes sees around. He says, Jenny, let's go crazy. Says it for the crack, and then he sees her smile, and there's no turning back. Well, Jenny Mackenzie, yawning and stretching, wakes up alone. It's the same old story, guess she should have known. Then she sees there's a note, sorry he wrote, had to go, be back by 5. Will Jenny be waiting? 'Cause now and for the rest of our lives, you better be there. Oh, you better be there. I'm needing you there, be there. Will Jenny be there?
Yeah, lovely. Great song.
Cheers, Ron.
The first verse, you had something. I can't think what the rhyme was, but you deliberately left off the rhyme, where it's something about a day, and then you say reading 50 Shades, and I was waiting for you to say of grey, but you didn't. And I thought it was brilliant. No. Stroke of genius, that. I could feel myself mouthing it, and it wasn't there. Excellent. That's brilliant. That's really nice. I like that a lot.
Oh, cheers,
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And is that sort of? I mean, you say that you tend to. It tends to come out of just noodling on a guitar, basically, which I think is what a lot of us do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's usually the way if I'm writing a song, it starts off, I'll play something and that will trigger something. A lot of friends that I write with start off with the lyrics, and quite often they'll sit there for an hour or more with a notepad, or some of them do it on a tablet or a laptop, and get the words done, and then they'll put a tune to it. And to me, that always feels a little bit like doing it backwards. I like the scaffolding up, which is the tune to me. But
I'd go along with you on that.
Yeah. But the thing is, when you hear a song, you don't know how it started or how it's come. It doesn't matter ultimately. A good song is a good song. But that's the easiest way for me to write. But I have written lyrics first occasionally, and in fact, it's usually if we're doing it as a songwriting exercise, and what we'll do is we'll all write a set of lyrics, and then they go in a pile, and you draw it random, you get someone else's lyrics, and you put music to it. And that's quite an interesting exercise. But the first time that I did that was on this course at Bath Spa, and I remember we had an hour, I think, to write some lyrics. And I was sitting there in this classroom with beads of sweat on my brow and a blank sheet of paper for the first 50 minutes, and then got something out, because it was the first time I've ever done it, and it just felt so strange and so odd. But I mean, the trigger for a song, it can be almost anything. One of the songs that possibly might do today was actually a YouTube thumbnail triggered it off.
Right.
And it's and when you've got the home screen on YouTube, and it recommends things to you. Yeah. Well, I watched a few guitar videos, and there's one. It was the thumbnail. You had the guy's head, and next to him there was a chord box, a diagram, which was labelled C major 9, and I thought that's not a C major 9, and so I picked it up and thought, well, that's a C major 9, and the diagram is that, and I thought, well, that sounds nice. Yeah. That changed. So where can I go from there? So I go, and I got.
Hang on, can I just check something for a minute? Is that? Yeah, because I've got a song that actually starts with. Which is exactly those two chords, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, yeah. So
I would have put that as it's a C. That's a C major. That's an F major 9th in my case there. Yeah. But the other one I considered that a 7th. But there you go. Anyway,
yeah, it's like a like a D7, but you've got the 7th note in the bass.
And the bass, yeah.
So which is always nice. I think of it as a D over C, but depending how you want to interpret the chord, So that set me off with that one, and it ended up being quite a personal song, really. That the lyrics are kind of me lyrics. It's one of the ones that I do as when I'm performing, because I think it's difficult when you're. I think particularly when you get in a older and you're singing songs, not only what's what looks and sounds right coming from you, but what people accept from you as well.
Yes.
It's like Paul McCartney can sing. She was just 17. You know what I mean? Because it's one of his old songs. But if Paul McCartney's age, you can't write a new song with those lyrics, can you? So.
In fact, that applies to a lot of things from that era.
It does, yeah. So I think part of being a singer-songwriter is that you got to find your own voice. You've got to, what's authentic to you. I think when I talk to people who are not songwriters, a lot of people, I think, can be a little bit disappointed if you say, well, it was a chord diagram that they saw, or I wanted to have a song that started on the second rather than starting on the tonic, or and people want to feel, well, it's come from you, and it's it's got the emotion and it's got the meaning. But I think I like to think that all the songs I write do have that in them, but it doesn't necessarily need to be the start of the song. That can come in partly through the process.
I can't think who it was. I'm a big fan of quotes, but I can't think who it was that somebody said genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. But just coming back to those two chords, it's very interesting that you say, because there is this thing about how certain types of chords engender certain emotions. Strange enough, that the song that I played with those two chords is a song about myself and Leslie, my wife, who you saw briefly popping in before, and it's a very personal thing, and unlike a lot of my writing, it was a very happy song as well, but very personally, something about those, is that something that I've often heard people say, especially piano players, they say that D minor is a very sad key. And I'm thinking, well, why is D minor any sadder than any other minor? I don't quite get that. But but I think you're right, the mechanics of it is a big part of it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And it's something just needs to resonate with you. And because the song has got so many elements in it, it can be any one of those elements that can kind of start the process going, and then the trick is to pull it all together and make sure. And I mean, it's again, I think it's the listener really who decides whether it's a complete song or not. It's got to work for the person who's hearing it, who doesn't know what was in your mind at the time and what you're intending it to mean or what you think you're saying. The listener decides, don't they?
Yeah, that's interesting. I just thinking about what you said at the early part of this part of the chat, and you were saying about you think it works better than music first and then the lyric come out from that. I think
for me it does, yeah.
I think I would agree with you on that. The only exception for that is that if you have a line, I mean, I can't imagine ever writing, a page of lyrics and then setting it to music. But I have been in a situation where I've liked a specific line and then created the music from that line because of the rhythm of the phrase. But that's essentially you've got sort of like, it's almost like a punchline usually.
Yes, yeah. I think when you do get a phrase like that, you can hear where it sits, if it's the end line of the chorus or opening a verse or whatever. Yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that.
It's and the other thing I was thinking about, you were saying about with that previous song, you were saying that you'd had the sort of the riff in your mind, and then you how did you put it? You mumbled some lyrics over it.
Yes, yeah.
Which I think is. Do you know the famous story about Paul McCartney and the dummy lyrics?
Scrambled eggs.
Yeah,
yes.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. For those of you out there who've not heard the story, the story goes that McCartney had the melody and the chords for Yesterday and couldn't work out what the lyrics were going to be, And in order to remember it, he recorded it. I don't know, he wouldn't have had a phone in those days, would he? But he recorded it singing "Scrambled Eggs," da 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 da, scrambled eggs, da da, which is brilliant. I think it's lovely. It's a great. Who do you like as songwriters?
Right, the person who I think motivated me to kind of pick up a guitar and write a song originally was James Taylor, probably.
Right.
Who actually a school friend recommended him to me. He was a big fan, and he knew I was learning the guitar. He said, "You've got to listen to James Taylor," so I did, and I still listen to James Taylor. And this was just before Fire and Rain came out, and that and again that kind of spurred it on, because that was quite a big song, and he was on the Old Grey Whistle Test and programs like that a couple of times, and I think just the presentation, because it was quite unusual in those days to see one person with a guitar on stage, and he would talk a little bit about his songs, and he did a really nice thing where he was kind of talking about TV adverts and things like that, and playing them, things that things that had influenced him were all kinds of everything that he heard, really, coming off the TV and stuff like that. So you felt like you were learning a bit about him as well as listening to the songs.
That's nice, yeah.
And I think that's part of the appeal of the the kind of singer-songwriter thing for me. That if you've got a group of people, obviously it doesn't really apply. Even if someone says something about the song, they're talking about the song, but it's that personal kind of one-on-one element of it, which you sometimes get, just gives an extra dimension to it, I think.
No, that's brilliant. Yeah, no, I think that James Taylor was probably an influence on tens of thousands of people, and quite rightly so.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, he wrote some great stuff, and I mean, but around that time. Certainly what I can remember, because I was at university in the early 70s, and the albums that you saw people carrying were, and in fairness, it was very gender related. In the main, it was women you saw carrying Joni Mitchell, James Taylor, Cat Stevens, and the blokes you'd see carrying Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple in rock. Or in my case, Free, but it was all happening at that point, the sort of singer-songwriter thing, and I think at a certain point it went a little bit out of fashion in the mainstream. A singer-songwriter became almost like a criticism.
Yes, yeah. It went a bit twee, I think, as well.
Yes,
a lot of people came through who were doing kind of little, sweet little ditties, and. Yeah, I think that kind of coloured the perception of it as well, didn't it?
Yeah. I have to say, I never really got Cat Stevens. I felt that he felt into that.
No, it's funny that Now, I saw Cat Stevens at the Manchester Free Trade Hall, and he got the strongest stage presence of anyone I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It started off with the.
It really surprises me.
Yeah, started off, there was just like a tall stool, like bar stool, in a spotlight with his guitar on a stand next to it. And he walked out, picked up the guitar, sat on the stool and started playing, and just captured the whole audience in a really understated way. So, every now and then you see someone and, it's indefinable, but some people just have something about them that can fill, capture everyone in a large space.
Yeah.
Yes, I do know what you mean about his songs, and I think the album covers as well didn't help, because they were very cartoony, like they looked like from a children's book, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Yeah,
a lot of them. Yeah. So, no, I mean, he wrote things like Where Do the Children Play, which is a bit of a kind of social comment song and things like that. So it was a mixture of stuff. But no, I do like Cat Stevens. But he wasn't kind of one of the big ones. Free. I had to listen to a lot. So you mentioned there. We've never got into Led Zeppelin, funnily enough.
I have to say that Free was my. I mean, Paul Kossoff was one of my heroes. I still think he was one of the great guitar players, and I must have seen them 4 or 5 times in a very short space of time. And in fact, I saw them at Eel Pie Island, which was quite an extraordinary place to be. But yeah, Zeppelin, I quite like the first album. I still think is a masterpiece. The second one was okay, but after that, I'm like, oh. Anyway, I'm not here to sit around and criticise other people's music. Okay, then let's have another song, shall we?
Yeah, okay, let's do that. In fact, I'll play the one that we were just talking about with with 2 chords. So it's called "Waiting for the World to Change."
Okay.
When I was a boy, I played with all my space-age toys, and I knew we'd make everything alright. The future clean, man-made free by the new machines. The outlook never seems so bright, and I don't know why. Songs are sung and banners fly, and it all remains just the same. I've been waiting for the world to change, holding on for a brighter day, and I know the world could change today. Once all the rage was talking about a golden age. It was peace, love, we all wore bells. Aquarius was a guiding sign, but we missed the bus, took a detour somewhere else. And I don't know why. Songs are sung and banners fly, and it all remains just the same. I'm still waiting for the world to change, holding on for a brighter day, and I know the world could change today. If all who hunger could feed themselves, if those with plenty could share the wealth, if we all became a little kinder ourselves, wheels will turn. Now I'm a man, they tell me I don't understand. Leave the job to those who know the score, but all I see is self-obsession, hate and greed, slogans not worth fighting for. And I don't know why. Songs are sung and banners fly, and it all remains just the same. I'm still waiting for the world to change, holding on for a brighter day, and I know I've been waiting oh so long. Waiting for the world to change, still holding on for that brighter day, and I know the world could change. The world could change, yeah, the world could change today.
Yeah, lovely. You got a lot of sections in that song, haven't you?
Yeah, there's the first pre-chorus, chorus, and a bridge.
Yeah. The other interesting thing that struck me is that on that you go from those first 2 chords, you go to a G, don't you?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, if because mine's in F rather than in C, but I go to an A minor, which in effect is the relative minor to what you're playing. Because if I was playing in a C, so we've both gone for the same sound. in a sense.
Yes, yeah.
You with it? Because it's like because what I'm playing is the relative minor to what you're playing. It's, so maybe there is a natural sort of resolution there somehow or other. That's intriguing.
Yeah, I think things that normally
nerdy,
will
I'm
kind
sorry,
of
but-
guide you in a certain. No, I think that's right. Chords do kind of guide you in a certain direction, but it's nice to just get away from the, like if you listen to the top 40, it's in different permutations, isn't it? You know, it's nice to get away from the. Although I do use those 4 chords sometimes, but
Well, I think it's inevitable.
Yeah.
But I think it was, Chinny Chat Productions, Mike Chapman and Nicky Chin. They wrote all the a lot of
Sweet
hits for,
and people like that,
Mud
isn't it? Yes,
and all those sort of people. Was it Mud? Yeah, I think it was Mud. And whichever one, I think it was Mike Chapman was the guitar player, and he said he could only play 3 chords, and that was it, which is fair. And in fact, there was one of the great American songwriters, and I can't remember which one it was, who could only play piano. He could only work on the piano on the black keys. And
yes.
Have you heard this story? Yeah,
that's right. I'm trying to think who it was. Yeah,
it was one of the big names, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
And he had this piano built, so it was a transposing grand piano, so that he had pedals on it. So whatever he would always play on the black notes, but he could transpose it into different chords by using the pedals, which is decadent in the extreme. I think it's like to have a capoed concert grand built. I think it was.
Was it Irving Berlin? I think it was Irving Berlin. Yeah, I think
at the same time.
I have
was.
read that somewhere. I'm sure it was Irving Berlin. Yes.
Why did we both come up with the answer simultaneously? That's synchronicity for you. Okay, so now you mentioned the other day about playing the piano or about using the piano. I think we both agreed that we use pianos rather than play them.
That's right. Yeah, I've got my keyboard sitting here, so to remind me to practice, which I'm not doing nearly enough of. Yeah. Keyboards. I've been able to kind of play basic chords and simple lines for quite a while. But what I'll do normally is use it to get music into a computer. I'm not at the stage where I would sit down and play you a song on here.
No, I went through the piano lessons thing when I was a kid up to grade 5. But if I go to the piano now, I approach it as a guitar player. Yeah. Which means I play the root notes with my left hand, and I play a triad with my right hand. I don't go beyond that. But yeah, mainly for getting it into the computer. Well, do you play any other instruments? You're not a multi-instrumentalist like your brother.
No, I'm not the same. I've got a mandola, which is like a big mandolin. It's actually sitting in its case just behind me here. That's nice to play because the pitch range. In fact, let me just.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know what a mandola is. Is that 4 double courses of strings like a mandolin?
It is, yeah. So it's a classical mandola is like a viola is to a violin.
Right.
It's bigger body and it's a fifth down. This is actually tuned an octave down. Yeah, it's so. Not really in tune, but it's nice because that's the same pitch as the high E on a guitar.
Right.
And the lowest note is like playing a G on your 6th string.
Right. Okay.
So it's very similar kind of pitch range to a guitar. So you can accompany yourself. You can play on this and sing to it in the same way you can sing to a guitar. Whereas a mandolin, with being an octave higher, you play your highest note, your lowest notes there. It's a bit shrill, really, to use.
It is,
yeah.
And also because the strings are so much shorter, you're working at higher pitches, you don't get any sustain off it.
No.
Whereas that, immediately when you strummed it, it rang out, didn't it?
Well, I say it's not in tune, so that.
No, but I can still hear the difference.
But yeah.
That's nice, that.
There's quite a ring to the notes. The necks are really thin on a traditional one here, which is the thing that felt strangest when I played it. But the nice thing about it, again, I won't do too much because it's out of tune, but you can play, a chord sequence, the same sequence of chords that you'd play on a guitar, and it sounds completely different because of the way the intervals are in the notes and the chord. It's like playing fancy inversions. And it also blends really nicely with guitar if you're multi-tracking or playing with someone else. I've done that a couple of times. Again, should really practice, but those are the three things really that I've got. I've got a little ukulele as well, which was bought as a present for me, and a shaker egg, and assorted bits of crazy percussion. Yeah, but the guitar really is where I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And this, I'm getting comfortable. The Mandola, nice little bits and extra, and I have written a couple of songs on that, which is
have you put music out at all? Have you recorded CDs, or have you put stuff on Spotify? Or I've got your website up here. Where is it gone?
Yeah, there's an album, What's Not to Like, that's available CD and digital download, and a couple of individual tracks on Spotify as well. I mean, everything's available with Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, the normal things through the distributor.
We've just got an agreement from Gareth Jones saying yes, it was Irving Berlin. So we're all in accordance with that.
Yeah.
Now.
If Gareth says it was, then it was definitely.
Oh right, okay. So you know Gareth. Also got a compliment for your last song from Eddie Cook, who was one of my regular listeners.
Oh, that's very nice. Thanks very much, Eddie.
So, have you got any plans for any more recording in the future, or do you tend to record at home, or do you go into studio to do it, or a combination of both?
Well, at the moment, that's my studio, little Boss BR800.
Oh right,
which is nice because it will actually link into the laptop. You can use it as an interface, or I can just take this somewhere with me and record away from everything else. Bring it back, plug it in, and then and I use Cakewalk as a DAW to mix in. So I really enjoy recording just on that, to be quite honest, because there's no screen. Because if I'm recording on computer screen, I'm watching the waveforms, and you kind of get tied to the screen. Whereas with this, you're just listening to what's gone before, and I think sometimes it's a bit more kind of instinctive. You get into the feel of playing with other tracks that you've already put down.
The other thing I've come across, I did some recording at, there's a couple of colleges in Manchester, and they quite often want people to go in as guinea pigs, for student engineers.
Oh, right,
and there was one woman I worked with that was really good, and what she did was when we were listening on playback, she switched the screens off.
Yes. Yeah.
And I thought that was brilliant. It was so, because you're right. What happens is you end up watching it like this, and you think, well, what's that bit there? Why is that jumping out a lot more? And she was saying that her tutor had said to do that you should be listening with your ears, not with your eyes, which I think is fair comment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I found that if you adjusting the EQ on something, you're altering the tone, and you look at what the curves are doing rather than listening to how it's affecting the sound. So, well, I do anyway. So, it's nice to actually get that. Yeah.
So I think it's time for another song. We seem to be chatting too much. Let's get some more songs done.
Right, I'll tell you what. I'll do one. This was written slightly different way to the other things we were talking about. That it actually came, like I was saying, the way a lot of people think songs should come. That I just felt that I needed to write this song, and it was from an article I'd read in the morning newspaper. It's when I still used to read a morning newspaper, and it was a story about some the effect in a little village of someone who'd died when he was a military operation thing, and just about how in a really small community it has a much bigger effect. And I mean, even though you read so many things about that, there was just something in this particular article that must have affected me. And I went to work, and I was driving home from work, and it was I was just getting the words in a tune in my head. I was actually driving home, and when I arrived home, it was literally on the back of an envelope. There was a C4 envelope that had come through with a building society statement or something in it, and I grabbed that and a pen and my guitar, and 20 minutes later I'd got the song, and
nice.
So I say, anything can kind of trigger it, but it was one that kind of came from the kind of emotional side of things, really. It's called Jamie's Coming Home.
Okay.
Headlines in the village shop, I could hardly speak. I was there when Jamie Sales wrote a letter just last week. Never been the worrying kind. Jamie was so afraid. I told him better times were surely on the way. Today we got the news. Jamie is coming home. His wife was at the schoolyard gate, children pouring home. Bodies float around her legs like water round a stone. She called me over, asked me had I heard. She had to tell the boy and she couldn't find the words. Today we got the news. Jamie is coming home. His photo on the evening news, uniformed and proud. Coffin carried shoulder high, Union flag his shroud. And on the wild hillside, where we played children's games, I sat beside the tree where Jamie carved his name. Jamie is coming home.
Beautiful. Absolutely lovely.
Thanks very much.
Your lyrics are very easy. There's nothing. There's nothing that jars about your lyrics. They're when I say they're not, I don't mean they're easy to write. I'm sure they're extremely difficult to write. But there's something easy about the sound of them. You know what I mean?
I think singability is really important.
Exactly.
I don't try to be poetic and come up with fancy phrases or anything. But a lot of people say lyrics should be conversational, but I don't think it's. I think it's a bit more heightened than conversational.
Yes,
but
it is.
It should easy is a really good way of saying it. Yeah.
But the interesting that to talk about the fact we both came up with Irving Berlin, and both used the same chord sequences. The other thing I was just about to say was singability, because it's something that Sammy Cohen goes on about. About the singability of words, and I know there are sometimes I hear Sammy Khan. I mean, not Sammy Cohen. Where did I get Sammy Khan?
Yeah.
Sammy Khan goes on about singability, and it's something. And you know, sometimes I listen to a song and I think, oh, that's a really, and then suddenly be one word that leaps out like something leaping out. It's like a piece of barbed wire almost. You know, it's just great.
Yeah.
But your lyrics are very smooth. Yeah, lovely.
Cheers.
Lovely.
That's really really good. Thanks.
It's the other thing is what how have you got on during lockdown? I know you've still been working some of the time, so you've not had a lot of time on your hands like some of us had. Has it been productive?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I finished work now.
Right.
And yeah, I'm having to go at kind of full-time songwriting.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, through the kind of the main lockdown, the big lockdown, yeah, I had a couple of weeks on furlough, basically just waiting till they could get a laptop round to me, because I'd actually been on holiday. One of these songwriting get-togethers, actually, we were in Wales, in Lampeter, as the kind of the week that the lockdown was introduced and came in. So
Right.
by the end of the week, it was like zombie apocalypse. and I drove home and I'd had a message saying to go into the office and collect my computer and stuff. And I was actually getting ready to do that, and another message came through saying, no, don't come to the office, no one's allowed in at all, we'll send something round to you. But it took a couple of weeks, so I had that time. And then, yeah, so when we did go back, I actually got changed my role to a different team, so I went straight into Zoom training. And apart from a couple of people, everyone I was dealing with then, I'd never actually seen in the flesh. So it was a really strange situation. But I mean, it feels absolutely normal now. I spend quite a lot of time on Zoom with people I've not met in the flesh, and doing all sorts of things. Writing songs, like you were saying, but you can be writing a song with someone who's in a completely different country, and it's no different to someone who might be 2 miles away. You're all on screen together.
Yeah. It is.
Although
an odd one.
Yeah. There's nothing that beats actually being in a room with other people, though, and playing and writing together, or just playing together and jamming together. I don't think you'll ever be able to surpass the fun that is. It's just it's got so many extra things to it. And you can get the job done here, with Zoom and with technology.
Yeah.
But it's not the same kind of interaction that you get if you're actually
absolutely not. No, I
next to
agree.
someone.
I think it's one of the reasons that I wanted to do this whole series of programs is the fact that I've done some online gigs with various people, and I've home songs and stuff like that, and it's just the strangeness of it, the fact that you have no feedback at all.
Yes.
And as I said to somebody the other day, even if you're in a pub, you're doing a gig, and there's a bunch of people there who are not really listening to what you're doing, but they clap politely at the end. You still know they're there, and there is that sense of sort of presence, as it were. And doing it online is not quite the same. At least with home songs, somebody comes on and chats to you beforehand. Some of the ones I've done, you just go. They just say, "Well, look, just plug into this, play through this particular page." On a certain time on such and such a day, which is a bit weird. So would you like to do one more song for us then? Because you said you're going to do
Okay, let's do that.
I think that would be good.
With this one. Okay, so we're kind of trying to get a variation of songs that have kind of come about in different ways, just to do with it. And this one was on a kind of songwriting week, and but I think we gave each other like an hour and a half to write a song or something like that. So just a solo song, not collaboration, but see what you can come up with. And I decided to write about kind of fictionalise something that it does actually come from my pastor. I went to Castle Hill near Wakefield, and with someone who was going through a kind of a bit of emotional turmoil, and we just had a talk and really kind of emotionally connected and everything. It was just that one-off occasion, but there's a couple of things that I've put in here, and I think this is one of the things that comes about when you're writing from real life. As we were driving back in the early hours of the morning, going through these little country lanes, we came to a T-junction, and there's some young rabbits actually just playing in the hedgerows, and we sat for a minute in the car just watching the rabbits playing. And so there's a line in here about rabbits playing in a headlight beam, which you'd never come up with if you're just writing a song, from imagination. So this is Castle Hill. Drove one night to the top of the world with you, my almond-berry girl. Heard the chimes for the midnight hour there by Jubilee Tower. Time's gone by for the two of us. Through the years I can feel the love. For one moment the world stood still. That night we kissed on Castle Hill. The stars looked close enough to hold. I felt you shiver with the cold. Gave you my coat and held you near. If I close my eyes, it's like you're here. Time's gone by for the two of us. Through the years I can feel the love. For one moment the world stood still. That night we kissed on Castle Hill. And there was ice around the moon. I knew the day was coming soon. What remains is more than memories for me and you. Before the dawn I drove you home. The country lanes were all our own, and rabbits played in the headlight beam. We were lost in a lover's dream. Time's gone by for the two of us. Through the years I can feel the love. For one moment the world stood still. That night we kissed. That night we kissed. Oh, that night when we kissed on Castle Hill. That night when we kissed on Castle Hill.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, again, just lovely lyrics. I mean, they sound so natural. Again, I can't think what more to say about it. Just great.
It's really good of you to say that. Thank you, Roland. Yeah.
It's what I feel. Great. It's great. Yeah. Gary, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thanks for joining us. It's hopefully sometimes we don't live that far apart. We'll actually get to meet in the flesh, as they say.
Absolutely, we'll have to do. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, really thrilled to have been asked along. I'm being just being attacked by a fruit fly. Then, sorry, just landed on my nose.
Have you ever had that happen when they're flying around you when you're actually performing?
And your eyes are crossing.
Yes, I had it happen to me once when we lived in Italy, and I was doing a gig outdoors, and there was this, and it was flying round, and I could see it, and it was so big that all the punters could see it as well.
Oh, right, yeah.
He was outside this bar, it's like watching this sudden thing fly. And unpleasant insects can be. So look after yourself. Have you got any gigs coming up?
No, nothing scheduled. I'm actually going down to Devon with a couple of friends coming up next week, and then when I get back from that, I'm going to get a few open mics and things lined up. I'd like to get back into that, definitely. So I'm sure our paths will cross.
Yes, I'm sure.
Absolute delight. Thank you so much, Ron.
It's been great. It's been great fun. We've got nice comments as well from Eddie, saying how much he enjoyed your songs.
Cheers, Eddie.
So, thanks again, and see you again soon. Brilliant.
All the best.
Take care, Gary. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, everyone who's watched. Bye, then.
Oh, that's great. Great songs. Great songs. It's such an easy lyrics. It's just sort of, that might sound facetious, but it's not. They were just fabulous. Okay, that's it from me for this week. Next week I have a pair of writers on called Eddie and Phil, who write songs with a band called the Blazing Snowmen. It's really funny because they contacted me about a gig that I was running, and they sent me a description of the band, and it sounded they played it down quite a lot, really. Then I went on to Spotify and listened to some of this stuff, and it is wacky. It reminded me of what's it called? Oh God, I forgot what they're called. No. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. So I can't tell you who it reminded me of even. But they'll be good. They will be very interesting. Quite off the wall, the lyrics are. So that's all from me from me for this week. And I shall be here again next Tuesday at 6:30. So look after yourselves and stay safe. Okay, cheers, guys. Bye.